Hello everyone, welcome to chemistry class. Today we will continue with the chapter 2, the role of chemistry in our life. And today's topic is from the chemistry and medicine. How the different medicines are important in our life. We will see some of the examples and chemistry is involved in all of them. So let us begin here. So previously the medicines, earlier days the medicines were derived from the herbs, from the plants, medicinal plants, as well as from the minerals that are present on the earth crust. So medicines were extracted or obtained from them. But nowadays what we are using? We are using chemicals today. Different type of chemicals in the industries, they are used to prepare different types of medicines, and we can categorize the different medicines into different categories. As you can see here in this table, in the book this table is mentioned here, and you will have to learn these all of these types, and with one of the example, minimum one example you should be knowing. So let us come here with the first type of the medicine, that is antipyretic. All the uses of these medicines you have to remember. So first is antipyretic. What they are used to bring down the fever. Whenever fever is there, we are taking the medicine called as antipyretic. Examples are aspirin and paracetamol. Next is analgesic. They are just painkillers only. They help in relieving the pain. Whenever any pain is there, this type of medicine is taken. Here also the same example will work, that is aspirin and paracetamol. Next now is anti-malarial, that is just to cure the malaria. In case of this, we are taking anti-malarial diseases, and the example here is quinine and the related compounds. These are all anti-malarial medicines. Next now anti-allergic. In case of the allergies, different people have different allergies to different things, like it can be to the cold, or it can be the reaction to the dust, smoke, etc. Different people are allergic. Just to avoid that allergy only, anti-allergic medicines are taken. Example is given, that is cetirizine. Next is antibiotics. These are generally taken in case of the bacterial diseases, the diseases caused by the bacteria. They are cured or they can be healed using antibiotics. So antibiotics will do what? They will destroy these microorganisms which are causing the disease. For example, what diseases they will work? Antibiotics will work in case of dysentery, typhoid, tuberculosis, etc., and different kind of infections caused by the bacteria can be healed by the use of antibiotics. Examples are given here. Just you will have to remember these names: penicillin, chloromycetin, ciprofloxacin, ampicillin, and rifampicin. Minimum 2 you can learn out of this. Minimum 2. So that is all. You have seen the different type of the medicines, and all these are made up of different kinds of chemicals. So this is how chemistry is important in the medicines, and they are helping us in our diseases. Now next important use of chemistry in regard to the cosmetics industry. Different cosmetics are used in our day-to-day life. We are using, and they are doing what? They help a person look good. In earlier time, long ago, what they were made from, the cosmetics were made by deriving certain natural substances from the different sources, especially from the plants. But nowadays we are not using the natural sources, we are using chemicals. Chemicals are generally used to prepare the cosmetics these days. So all these are chemical preparations only what we are applying now. Cosmetics also can be of the different types, like creams, powders, and different solutions. What the creams are doing, they are generally keeping the skin soft and moistened, and its cosmetic use for making it suitable for our use, it is mixed with the following substances. How it is made, let us see here. Point number 1 now. A mild antiseptic like the boric acid is used in the creams only. It is present there to check the growth of any harmful microorganism on the skin. So all the creams are having this basic substance that is working as an antiseptic only, and if you apply the cream on your skin, and because of this boric acid, microorganisms, like especially the bacteria only, they will not be able to grow on the skin. Next now, second thing that is there is a white powdered substance, that is like calamine. It is an example. This is zinc carbonate. It is a chemical called zinc carbonate. It is a mineral present in the earth crust also. So this is also mixed in the cream, and what it will do, it will make the cream white. Point third now, vitamin E is also there in the creams, and they will give nourishment to the skin. Vitamin E is important for the skin, for the maintenance of the skin. So this is how we have seen one example regarding the creams, and we can understand how chemistry plays a relatively important role in the case of the cosmetics also, and they help us look Good. Second thing regarding the cosmetics only is the talcum powder. Talcum powder is also used as a cosmetic and it will keep the skin dry. What it will do when the person is feeling sweat, especially in the summer season, so what will happen, due to the sweat only the bacteria grow on the body of the on that part of the body on the skin, and it will produce a bad smell. A foul smell is coming when the sweat is there. After some time person feels that bad smell is there, and to avoid that smell only, smell is not in the sweat, smell is because of the bacteria is growing because of the sweat. So we have to avoid the growth of that bacteria. So what we can use, we can use a antimicrobe, a mild antimicrobe. That is only what we are using the creams also, boric acid. So boric acid is also present in the talcum powder. So all these talcum powders are having this antimicrobe. What they will do, they will check the growth of the bacteria on the skin, and ultimately the bad smell due to the sweat will not be coming. So that is why boric acid is present there. Also some perfume is mixed, different powders, you may be noticing different type of fragrance are there, different smells are there. Just to give a good fragrance, this perfume is mixed there. Next, now talcum powder is mixed with the mineral. Why the name talcum is there? Because a mineral called as talc is present in that powder, in that particular substance. So that is why it is called as talcum powder. The chemical compound in the talcum powder, or we can say in the talc, what this talc actually is, it is hydrated magnesium silicate. It contains three things. One is magnesium, second is silicon, and third is oxygen. All these elements are present in talc in the form of what? Hydrated magnesium silicate. This chemical name you have to underline, you have to notice you have to remember for your exam. Two things are important. First thing, talcum powder is made from which mineral? This can be asked. That is talc. Second thing is, the chemical that is present in talc is what? It is hydrated magnesium silicate, and it contains three things: magnesium, silicon, and oxygen. So that is all. Next, now rogue. That is also one of the cosmetic. It is a red powdered substance, and it is made up of what? Rogue is an oxide of iron, and it is prepared by a chemical method. And where this is used, it is used with the face powder to give a reddish hue to the skin. Generally in the makeup it is used just to give reddish hue to the skin. On the cheeks it is generally people are applying. Next, now we'll go to the next part, that is soaps and detergent. These are used in a day-to-day life for as a cleansing agent. We are taking bath using a soap. Also the clothes we are washing in the detergents. So they are all cleansing agents, and they are also chemistry plays an important role. So here let us see here, already I told you soaps and detergents are used as cleansing agents. And why they are so? Because the dirt, that is all the dirt will stick to the greasy surface, and because of this it will be removed by the water. Whenever we are applying soap, the dirt particles will get stuck there, and when we are putting water on that, the dirt also moves away along with that soap solution. So ultimately our body becomes clean. Not only our body, also if we wash our clothes, same kind of phenomena is going with regard to detergents also. So both of these cases only, soaps and detergent, that is in cleansing process they are used. And when we are doing so, when the cleansing process is going on, soap and detergent produce lather or foam with water. Leather in Hindi इसको बोलते हैं झाग, that is leather. So leather is produced with the water, and it will take away the dirt along with the grease. Grease is actually oily substance only. So all the dirt particles only will go away with the water when we use soap and detergent. Now we will see in details now both the things. First is soap. Soap are all what they are made up of. They are all soluble salts. Soluble means they can mix in water. Obviously soap can dissolve in water. That is why we are able to use them properly. So soaps are soluble salt of what? Made up of long chain of fatty acids. Yes, they are fatty acids. A kind of fatty acid is present in the soaps, and the name exactly is given here, palmitic and stearic acid. So these are long chains of carbon atoms of palmitic and stearic acid. These two acid name you can underline, and we can ask this in exam, that which type of acids are there in soap. Answer is palmitic and stearic acid. What these palmitic and stearic acid are? These are the fatty acids present inside the soap. One common kind of the soap is given there. Commonly the soap is having this thing. So again underline this and remember this for your exam. That is, soap contains two chemicals in very common manner. Most of the soaps are having this only. Either it will be sodium palmitate or it will be sodium stearate. अगर palmitic acid है, so then sodium palmitate. Second, If it is stearic acid, अगर stearic acid soap में है, then it will be called as sodium stearate. So based on the type of the acid, the chemical will change. Next now, oil and fat are the cheap sources of fatty acids, and fats are oily and soft, or the soft and the solid things found in the plants and animals. All these oils are present in the plants and animals only. These oil only, which we are referring to, these fatty acids, now these are present inside the plant and animals only. And generally from the plants only, we are taking the oil, we are extracting the oily acid or the fatty acids, and we are making the soaps. So soaps are getting this oil from the plants, and from that only we are producing or manufacturing soap. Soap is made using that only, oil extracted from the plant body. So this oil which when we are taking out from the plant body, that is mixed with the glycerin, a kind of substance. You will see here the process is given in detail. So soaps are obtained when the oil or the fat from where we have taken this, from the plants only. In some cases animal body is also used, but in our country mostly plants are used only. So only from the plants we will take oil and fat, and they are heated with a chemical called as caustic soda, sodium hydroxide. We have taken oil from the plant, heating it with the caustic soda. This is the first step. When we are heating this, when the process is going on, the sodium salt of the fatty acid will form. What is that sodium salt? Already we have discussed. I told you to underline also, that is sodium stearate will form. And second thing is what? Sodium palmate will form. Any one of these will be formed there. So because अगर सोडियम palmate कब बनेगा? If palmitic acid is there. अगर oil में palmitic acid है, then sodium palmate will form. If stearic acid is there, then sodium stearate will form. So that sodium salt will form of the fatty acid. And glycerin, second thing, glycerin will also form there. Two things will form. One is sodium salt of the fatty acid, second is the glycerin will form. This process only is called as saponification, and because sodium salt is separated only, that is what we will use as a soap only. If you are using a soap, actually what you are using? You are using the sodium salt of the fatty acid. Second thing is glycerin, that is sold separately also. It is a byproduct. We are making soap. The main purpose of doing the whole process what we are learning is manufacturing soap, but in the same process we have made something else. We have made one more thing, that is glycerin. So that is called as a byproduct, something extra that has formed. We are not doing this particular process to make this, but still it is forming. One extra thing is forming. That extra thing is called as a byproduct. The main thing that is forming in this reaction is called as the soap. So what we are forming is the product, and another thing is the byproduct. So byproduct in the manufacturing of the soap is glycerin, and this byproduct can be separated also, and it can be sold separately. So that is all. Glycerin, what is the use of glycerin here? Because it is the byproduct here, it is good for the skin and keeps the skin soft, and sometimes it is not separated from the soap. Most of the soap are having the glycerin. Those type of soaps are costly. If the glycerin is not separated from the soap, then those type of soaps are costly. They are called as glycerin soaps, and they are expensive than the ordinary soaps. So that is all. At the end we are adding what? At the end we are adding perfumes to make the body soaps. All the kinds of soaps you are using, they are having different kind of smell only because of these perfumes. And when mixed with water, what will happen? Soap will give leather, and it takes away the dirt particles from our body. Next, last topic is about the cleansing agent, that is detergents. Detergents are all synthetic substances. These are not natural things. Like soap is made from what? From the plant oil, but it is not done so. It is synthetic. It is totally made from chemicals only. So detergents are synthetic substances, and it is made from the petrochemicals that is obtained from petroleum. So from the petrochemicals only we are making these detergents, and whenever they are stirred with water, whenever we are mixing this detergent in water, they will produce a kind of foam, and this foam will take away the greasy dirt. So that is why we can say it is working like a soap only. Detergent also work like a soap, but they are not soap. They are cheaper than soaps, and also they are better than soaps. Their ability to clean the cloth is better as regard to soap. If you clean a cloth with soap and again you clean another cloth with detergent, so detergent will work better. Detergent is a better option for cleaning the clothes. So because of this only, detergents are not soaps. Still they are working like soaps. They are given a name. They are called as soapless soap. Detergents are called what? They are called as soapless soaps. And also liquid detergents are available these days, which are used for making the shampoos, and different type of soft fabrics can be cleaned using the detergents, like the silk and wool can be cleaned easily using this soap. So that is all. We have completed the topic up to the soaps and the detergents. The remaining uses of the chemistry in our day-to-day life with regard to chemistry and clothing and so on will continue in the next video. That will be the last video for this chapter, and also we'll discuss the exercise part once again. Already you have been given earlier, you had the previous videos for this chapter also, so all exercises were already there. We'll just have a revision of that also in the that will be the last video for this chapter in the upcoming week. That is all for today. Thank you.